Hello, 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 everybody. Hello, come on in. We are here and we are ready on this 2nd of June. We are ready for each and every one of you. Listen, as you come in, speak to us, say hello, tell me something good. I'm so excited about our session tonight. God bless you, Sister Mary, our faithful Sister Mary, Sister Patricia Lucas. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Come on, as you come in, tell us your name. If you want, you can tell us where you're from. We want to hear from you. This is so exciting because I have a very special guest tonight, my dear friend and brother, Pastor Jarrett Perdue. Oh, yeah. This is a wonderful man of God who's got some wonderful things going on, and he's going to be talking with us. We're going to be sharing tonight in our session. I am excited, and I want to share with you that tonight's session is being brought to us by a program entitled Vital Worship, Vital Preaching through the Calvin Institute of Christian Worship in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And it is supported through the Lilly Endowment Foundation. And we are so excited that they have chosen us to be a part of their programming. I want to remind you, let's stay connected. We need you. If you're not connected with us yet, we want you to get connected. God bless you, Faye Anderson. I see you all coming in. We need you to get connected. We're going to put that information on our lower thirds for you to get connected. You can text to 83352 55644. You can text connect. You will be on our text list. If all you gotta do is text connect. If you want prayer, text prayer. If you want to make a contribution, text donate. This is our way of being connected with you, and we're so excited about that. So listen, tonight's facilitator is, let me do my thing. The one, the only, Pastor Jarrett Perdue. Oh, come on, Pastor Perdue.
Thank you.
I'm excited. I am so excited, as you can tell, to have you with us on tonight. You work with me with the lifestyle and culture for ministry in our ministerial empowerment sessions. But tonight, I wanted to have you alone. I wanted you to be a guest on this program because of the things and transitions that God has brought about in your life, in your ministry, which of course I know has spilled over to its effect even on your family. And people many times have not seen what you have done. Can you tell us what has happened within the past? Is it a year or a little bit more than a year?
Yeah, it's in the past year. Let me just say, Pastor Sandra Riley, first of all, continued happy birthday blessings be upon you. And I know you just celebrated your birthday, and I want you to keep on celebrating. And I remember when you were the vice president for the IPYPU. Yes. And I was watching a video last week, I think it was, at Greater Grace. I believe it was the installation, for Bishop Charles Ellis, either the pastoral installation, I forget what the service was, but you were on there in the pulpit. And I said, look at her, still look the same. And so you have aged gracefully. And I'm thankful just for your example down through the years. And thank you for this opportunity to be on with you tonight. I'm excited about it. Just a couple things. Yeah, the last year, the church has certainly transitioned. In 2023, Bishop David Kay and I had a conversation and went into prayer about merging our churches together. He knew and said out of his mouth, and I'll quote, "I have taken the church as far as I can." And that's just a humbling statement that any pastor could make. Such a humble statement. And so for him to be able to notice that, recognize that, and know that it's time to transition the ministry before we get to a funeral, I thought was great of him to recognize and also to do. And so we begin that whole transition process in 2024. But 2023 was just a year of praying, strategizing, creating systems, and preparing for what's next. And one of the things I've learned is that you don't wait until you get to next to prepare for it. You prepare for next now. Now is an acronym we like to use that's called No Opportunity Wasted.
Mm.
And so we don't want to waste now, because if we waste now, we won't be prepared for what's next. And so we went through that, a year of transition, a year of learning the ministry, blending the ministries together, a year of him stepping back more and giving me the opportunity to step up more. And it wasn't just this abrupt shift that is sometimes unfair to members of a church. They had the opportunity to have a casual transition where they could ask questions and we can learn each other. And it's been a wonderful ride. It's been a wonderful ride.
Wow. Give us the meaning of that acronym. We talk about now,
Yes,
but you use it as an acronym. Give it to us again.
Sure. Now, the acronym we use for now is No Opportunities Wasted. No opportunities wasted. Jesus said, I must work the work of him that sent me while it is day. No opportunity wasted while it is day. Night cometh when no man can work. And so we have to take advantage of now, or not wasting any opportunity that we have, because there will come a time when we don't have those opportunities.
I think so many times we've wasted opportunities. Yeah. And just to hear from you, that's very, very powerful. Yeah. You have done something, you and Suffragan Bishop, K.
Yeah.
To me, it's unique because you don't see a lot of that. It's like you actually said. Normally, we're at funerals talking about transitions. Yeah. And for those of you that don't realize that sometimes we at the funeral, in the midst of the program, whispering about what that transition is going to look like. And I commend him for making this transition now. And also, I commend you for stepping up, and accepting am I right to say the challenge?
You are absolutely right to say it.
Okay, the challenge. And from what I can tell, and it kind of goes with our theme for tonight, and our theme even for this month, the one sound, one spirit, united in worship. Yeah. You all, when you merge the two congregations. Yes. Is it safe to say you had more of a younger congregation than what Suffragan Bishop K?
Yeah. No, absolutely. At that time, the majority of membership at Another Chance Assembly was the majority of baby boomers. So, I had more of a Gen X audience, and some Gen Z. It wasn't all baby boomers, but the majority were baby boomers. And so you mentioned the word challenge, and sometimes the word challenge, we understand there's opposition with challenge, but also within challenges, some of it comes from changes. Like, it's a challenge because I have to change. It's a challenge because I have to do things differently. I have to think differently. It's a challenge because I have to change from the culture that I've become very familiar and comfortable with. And I like it. I like this culture, but the challenge is now I have to change those things in order to blend with another ministry. And so it wasn't just a challenge on our side, on both sides. We're both challenging. We were both challenged with these changes, because it's not about you have to do it my way. It was about what is the new way that we're creating to do it together.
Okay, good. How has it worked with the merging of the two? of the two congregations, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this, the generations.
Yeah. I think one of the ways it has been working is we have illuminated the significance of each generation. So we don't negate or neglect the baby boomers in the church because everything is about the new, what's next.
Right.
And neither do we count out those that are in the Gen Z or after as being insignificant. In the book of Psalms, the Bible says, one generation shall praise thy works to another. And so there has to be intentional transition in cases like this. So we have intentional transition. If I was teaching a listening lab tonight for our Bible study, I would tell the people, put that in the comments, intentional transition, right? It's called intentional transition, the it factor. What are we doing on purpose to make sure each generation has what they need? Sometimes we hold people accountable for things that we have not passed down to them.
What?
Yeah.
Say that again.
Yeah, we sometimes hold generations accountable for things we haven't passed down to them. And it's unfair and it's unjust to do that. So we have not transitioned properly or had that intentional transition or the it factor. So now we say, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? Well, I didn't know. Well, I just assumed that you knew that. Well, no, I didn't know. Clearly defined expectations is what equals success, not your assumptions.
Wow. Listen, I know you all can tell this is prelim. We're just doing prelim right now. Listen, I need you to share this to your page. I need you to tag somebody, let them know we are on. This is going to be powerful. All right. So let's get it going. I want you to share with us.
Yeah.
What's been the hardest part, and maybe even the holiest part, of bringing two worship worlds together under one roof?
Yeah, I think probably one of the most challenging parts would be, as a leader, we go to the top of the mountain and we have this ability to see over into the horizon as to where we're going. Then we have to come back down the mountain and convince the people at the bottom of the mountain of what we saw. And so sometimes the most challenging part is convincing them of what Dr. King said. I've been to the mountain, right? It's convincing them of what we had the ability and opportunity to see and where we can go, and convincing them to do it. It was Nehemiah, in I think it's Nehemiah chapter 2. He said, you see that we are in distress, how the gates are burned with fire.
Yes.
And then he says, come, let us build up the wall of Jerusalem that we be no more reproach. What's interesting is he wasn't in trouble when the city was burned. He was in a safe place. He had to come to a place that was in trouble and convince them of what could be in a place where they couldn't see it for themselves. And so sometimes that's the most challenging part in leadership, and even with the transition, is saying, hey, we can see where this can go and we can see what this can be, and convincing people on both sides who have become very familiar with the way we do things and saying, I don't see how that's going to work.
Wow. I want to know, those of you that are online right now, have you ever been in a church going through a transition? And if so, I want you to just kind of drop a few lines in the chat and tell us, what did it take for you to press through and to praise God anyhow? Drop something in the comments. Let us know. If you've ever been through a church going through a transition, and what it took for you to just, keep on pressing through and praising God anyhow, because you don't know how your words can help someone else that's in that position right now. So Pastor, I'm curious to know, and I know you're on the early stages of it being officially the senior pastor.
Sure.
But how do you keep the sound of the seasoned saints alive while making room for fresh fire from a new generation? I heard a pastor say that when you have a multi-generational church,
Mhm.
that each generation needs to be able to have some type of expression
Yeah.
of worship in the service. So how are you keeping the seasoned ones alive and the fresh fire with the new G's?
Yeah, I mean, that's good. And I don't even know if I'm doing it on purpose. Um, Pastor Riley, I was raised by baby boomers. I was
Mhm.
raised by the baby boomer generation. Um, I was blessed to be able to sit in on that great foundation, that great time period, and so I have a love for it. And so I don't even know if I'm doing it intentionally, but because I have so much respect for the generation before me, because they raised me,
Mhm.
um, I automatically make sure that it remains an important part of the future, right? And the other thing we do is we don't negate or belittle songs that maybe the baby boomers, they're not crazy about, or they're not quote unquote blood songs. But we don't make the new generation feel like those songs are insignificant. It's impactful for their day. So we learn, instead of fussing and fighting about what God is not in, we find and learn the experience that each generation is having based on those songs and how it has impacted their life. So we include those songs in our worship experiences. I'll sing an old school song, quote unquote old school song,
Sure.
in a minute, and we'll bring in some new school songs as well. We'll play the hymns, we'll sing the hymns, but we'll also do Todd Delaney. So we introduce all of it. We bring all of it to the forefront because it's all important, because all of it is magnifying the Lord. So we don't get stuck in saying it has to sound like this. Our goal is it a sound that's pleasing in his ear? And if that's the case, it doesn't matter if it's old school or new school. I tease people. I say I'm not old school or new school. I'm in between. So call me middle school.
We got a middle school preacher here.
I
Give us,
love both of them.
give us some examples. So if we were to come to your church on a Sunday morning,
Yeah.
the mix, if a baby boomer came with one of the new generation, give us two songs, that an example of what they'll hear that they
Um,
both would be able to relate to.
okay. So like this past Sunday, um, the praise team opened up with the song Freedom. Uh, I want to clap a little louder than before. Boom, boom, boom. All of that, right? So they up and going like that. And then later on, we started singing The Blood That Gives Me Strength. From day to day, it will never lose its power. And so you'll have that rhythm of songs and ministry happening throughout the course of worship. So we're not stuck either way. It's not, we got to always sing songs out the hymn book, but neither is it, we have to sing what's the latest song that's hot on the charts right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's a balance.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one for you.
Okay.
Lights on, lights off.
So that's good.
You
I
know
know,
where
right?
I'm going with it.
I know, right? So our service starts at 10 a.m. But at
Okay.
9:45, we have our fire starters. So this is when we're praying around the altar, have the worship music playing, and we have a couple of the members there. They are praying, setting the atmosphere. During that time, we have the lights off. We have them down, right? More intimate. When praise and worship starts, we turn the lights on. So I remember when we first did it, I came in and praise and worship had started and the lights were still out. And so I looked at one of the members. I said, "Why the lights off?" And they said, "Oh, we were just trying to set the mood." I said, "Turn them lights on." See, that was my old school coming out here. Like, turn the lights on.
Turn the lights on.
Yeah. So I don't have anything against it, but does it make sense for the ministry that I serve? One of the things that, and I hope I'm not getting ahead or jumping ahead, but one of the things I've learned in that example with lights on or lights off is I think some pastors are guilty of pastoring the wrong church. And what I mean by that is maybe you're pastoring a church based on the way you were pastored. And you like that culture, you like that environment, but it's not relevant to the ministry that you've been called to serve. So that's what I'm saying. They're pastoring the wrong church. That's not what this church needs. That's something you enjoy. That's something you prefer. But is that the church that God has called you to pastor? It's like, no, he didn't call me to do that. Well, then that doesn't work for your ministry. It may work for another, but not yours. So turn them lights on if it don't work for you.
Wow. How would a pastor see that though? I mean, are they looking at the demographics?
Yeah.
Are they going by the response to certain songs or form of worship? How would a pastor, let's say a baby boomer, know, this isn't, I'm pastoring a church, one church, and I have another church?
No, right. No, I think that's a great question. One of the ways I think pastor would know is when we humble ourselves, we're willing to listen to the members. Like in some cases, Pastor Riley, they will let you know, I don't like this. I don't like what I can't see. If you got an older generation, you got the lights off. Well, they can't. You don't want them tripping over anything, stumbling over things. Yeah, I can't see. So does it make sense? What is your vision for the church? What is the mission statement for the church? What are the core values for the church? These are the things that help me to know what makes sense for our ministry. All right, we have at our church, we have, I love acronyms, right? You probably picked that up by now. But our church, our saying is, come to ACA, Another Chance Assembly. We have a seat for you. And SEAT is our acronym, which is the 4 components of our ministry. And everything falls under the umbrella of those 4 components. So SEAT, S-E-A-T, it's salvation, education, the arts, and technology. So everything we do, Pastor, is under those 4 components. Does it make sense? So if the auxiliary directors bring me something, or if I want to do something, how does it fall under the umbrella? Is salvation involved? Is education involved? Are the arts involved? Is technology involved? And if we can't find those in whatever I'm presenting or wanting to do, it could be a good idea, but it's just not good for this ministry.
Right. I remember hearing a pastor once say, knowing the difference between a good idea and a God idea.
I know that's right. Yes.
A good idea and a God. I love that. I love that seat. I love that. That's good.
Thank you.
Have you found that a lot of times pastors just don't have pillars set up for their church, so they don't have a guideline to follow?
Yeah, unfortunately. Let me say before I answer that question, my beautiful bride just came on here, Lady Arnita Perdue. And so I want to make sure I shout her out. Lady P, my Missy is on. It's going to be all right now. But yes, unfortunately, there are more than we probably would like to admit, pastors that don't have pillars. I think sometimes we have good ideas, as you mentioned earlier. I think sometimes we have seasonal ideas or a seasonal vision, but we don't have anything that's foundational. And I'm not even talking necessarily doctrinal at this point. I'm talking about foundational in terms of able to stand the test of times. It's 2025. So I'll use this example. Stay alive in 25. Well, that's nice. Mm-hmm. But is that going to be sustainable in 2026? You know, what are the pillars? What are the core values that's going to help people when it doesn't rhyme?
That's good. That's good. What you gonna do to stay alive?
Yes, right.
I want those of you that are watching, drop in the chat. Give us some like some worship songs that you think speak to both generations. Give us some songs that you said, when we hear them, they both generations seem to like it, both the younger generation, and the older generation, our baby boomers and our younger generation, they both seem to like. Type them in below. Let us know. Give us a few songs. And I'm going to see if it's true or not. I'm going to see if it's true or not. If I don't know it, I'm gonna say nah, because I don't know that song. Now, in all of this change that has been taking place, how have you seen God use worship to bring healing, harmony, and fresh hope to the church?
But one of the ways is just allowing the worship experience to happen. In the book by Rick Warren, A Purpose-Driven Church, he talks about waves, and he says, God creates the wave. We don't create the wave. Our responsibility is to ride it. We ride the wave. He said the problem comes in when God creates a wave this Sunday and we ride the wave, and then next Sunday we try to create that wave. That's where we get into trouble. So the worship experience has an impact when we allow God to create the moment. We don't rush it. We don't pour water on it. We ride the wave. So if that means, hey, I know the praise team planned for 2 songs today, but the Lord wanted to create a wave in this one. We're going to ride that wave. Hey, I know we normally at this point would play our announcements, our video announcements, but there is a moment happening that God has created that we didn't program for. And so we're going to ride that wave and say, God, it's your house anyway. However you want to speak, however you want to move, you do that. After the prayer, the Lord can be moving in such a way to where God says, hey, Jarrett, we're not going to do praise and worship at the beginning. I want you to start to minister. One Sunday, Pastor Riley, I was preparing to preach and a wave came through there and I couldn't. The Lord told me, go down and start laying hands, praying for healing. He said, I want you to pray and say, Jehovah Rapha, the Lord that heals Israel heals you. Jehovah Rapha, the Lord that heals Israel heals you. And that's what we did. I didn't go back and say, now I need to preach. It's like, we're going to ride the wave. He created the wave. It's his service. And so that worship, the freedom of worship is what has allowed us to be impacted by it. I think when we try to program worship, we'll fail and miss it every time. And so to use what you said, we may have a good time, but we didn't have a God time.
Right. And I think I need you to elaborate a little bit more on the freedom of worship, because I think some of the newer wave churches have gotten heavy into programmed worship.
Yeah.
And are starting to miss, even in their youth, miss the freedom of worship. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Sure. To just put it in layman's terms, it's getting out of the way so God can get in it. I want to have a freedom. So that means I have to get out of the way. Some of that, Pastor Riley, comes with humility. If there's going to be a freedom in worship, I have to humble myself to say, I was really looking forward to singing this song.
Okay.
I was really looking forward to preaching this message. I was really looking forward to doing this with the technology. However, God has shifted it. So let me humble myself and let there be a freedom in this worship. Let me get out the way so God can get in it. I'm not so stuck on programs. Old school, when we used to have those programs that they would type up at the bottom of it, it would always say program is subject to change.
Come on.
And that's that's the mindset all of us should have when we're going into a worship experience. I know what we've planned, and we should plan, and we should program, and we should have structure, and we should have systems. But at the bottom of every program, whether physically or mentally, should always read, program is subject to change. Anytime God want to come in there and shift things around, he has the right to do it, and we're not going to get in the way. We got a freedom here.
Does that keep a ministry fresh? You know, what does that contribute to? The freedom of worship, does that contribute to a freshness in ministry?
That's a great question. Absolutely. I totally agree with that it keeps the ministry fresh. Because how many of us know we've been going to church so long? We've been in church, a lot of us, most of our lives, some of us, all of our lives. So we know what time the praise team gonna start. We know what time the pastor gonna come up there. We know what time the welcome is. We know what time the choir gonna do the A and B selection. We got it down packed. We know the program. We know the structure of it. And as a consequence of that, things get a little stale. Things become common. And so we don't even look for a move of God anymore. We know what's going to happen. We've become so familiar with the structure and the order of our service that we don't look for God to do anything extraordinary. We don't look for the extraordinary from God because we know what the structure is. And I am not suggesting that service in church should not have structure. What I'm saying is it shouldn't be so structured that God can't get in it. You know, so yeah, it has caused churches to be stale, but the freedom of worship keeps a freshness there to where now we are anticipating God to show up and move and heal and deliver. I remember growing up as a kid, you couldn't say Jesus too many times without the church cutting up.
For real. For real. That's the truth. But
Yeah.
you said something about look for God. Mm-hmm. How would you instruct a pastor and even a congregation to be in tune and in the service and look for God?
Well, I would start by saying you don't start looking for him when you get to church. Right? That's not where you start. So we look for God every day. He's going to supply us with daily bread, right? Yeah. Or as one writer said, the bread of my necessity. Every day he's going to supply me. So every day I'm looking for him because I need him. You know, when it comes to the will of God, you have, you know, two components. I'm not saying these are all of them, but two components. We got the necessary will. You have the free will of God. And the necessary will is everything that God is to continue to be who he is. Everything outside of that, God don't need. So God says, I don't need anything in my free will for me to remain who I am. And so if God is the only necessary will that exists, I should seek him daily and not just when I come to church on Sunday. So if I want to teach people about seeking God, I tell them, don't start Sunday. Start every day that you wake up. And now we have this purposeful engagement with God. Who was it? Peter and John. Mm-hmm. Bible says they went to the temple. Here it is, at the hour of prayer. That's intentional seeking of God, right? And so we should intentionally go after him. That's not just on Sunday. That's not just when we come to church, but every day of our lives. And when we do that, God will always provide opportunities for the miraculous. They saw the man at the gate. Why? Because we're intentionally seeking him, because we need him. John Hannah always says it. I need him, 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 I need him. I need him, I need him, I need him, I need him. Right? And so when Pastor Hannah says that, I can feel it. He is the bread of our necessity. So I don't just seek him on Sunday. I need him every day.
Woo! you all know we get some good stuff in here. And listen, I saw some of the names. Some of you all put some songs in there. Waymaker, I think I would agree. I would
Yeah.
agree. Waymaker would go both sides. I think Sister Bonnie did that. Let's see, Goodness of God, CC
Yeah.
Winans. I definitely agree with that one. Turning it around for me. What you think?
I like
Okay.
that. I just sung that actually not too long ago, and the Lord took us in
Okay. Okay.
with that song. Yeah, yeah,
And then I saw somebody put he's already done enough.
yeah.
That one, what do you think about baby boomers? Yeah, baby
Some of them,
boomers.
yeah, yeah.
Some of them would. Some of them would. Okay. Well, I'm going to ask you our last question before we go over to our other platform, just
Okay.
for a few moments. And that is, what would you say to pastors who feel stuck, who want to shift the sound within their church, within their ministry,
Yeah,
but they're fearful of the fallout?
yeah. Well, I would give them what the Bible says. And he says, God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. So anything, Pastor Riley, that does not come from God, I don't have to accept. I don't have to accept it. He already told me I didn't give you fear. So if I feel fear, I know God didn't do it. So I can rebuke anything that he didn't send to me. All right.
Yes.
I can rebuke that. So you didn't give this to me, God. So I'm feeling this fear. I get it, but I can rebuke that. And then I have to have the ability to overcome that fear, right? I have to overcome those obstacles and be courageous enough. Here it is, to accept the consequences of who may leave.
Ah.
I have to be courageous enough to say, I'm going to do what God told me to do. And I know with doing what God tells me to do, there are consequences that come with it. Everybody won't like it. Everybody won't understand it. When I merged the churches, when Bishop K and I merged our churches, there were people that did not come with me. Good people,
Okay.
giving people,
Wow.
loving people, faithful people. But I had to be courageous enough to do what God told me to do and accept the consequences that come with following the will of God. And so
Mm.
I would tell them, you have to do it anyway. This is what God's telling you to do it anyway. Bishop Jakes preached a message decades ago. I used to listen to this all the time. And the title of it was, If You Can Give It Up, You Can Have It All. If you can give it up, if you can give up being looked at funny or being talked about, being looked at as if you don't know what you're doing, if you can give up that image of what you would like to be viewed as, if you can give up your tradition and your comfort and your familiarity, God said, if you can give that up, you can have it all. You can have it all. So I would tell them, be courageous enough to overcome it. Be courageous enough to accept the consequences of what comes with following the will of God. And when you do that, you will reap the benefit of being in his purposeful plan.
Woo! This is awesome. I need you all to give this man of God some a hand or two in
Thank
the
you.
chat. This is wonderful. And remember, when we leave here, we're just going to go for a few minutes into our community platform. You'll have an opportunity to do a one-on-one questions with Pastor Perdue. You need to register to join the community. Be looking out in your email, because once you join, they're going to send you something. You got to do something. So make sure you be looking out for your emails. But Pastor Perdue, before we leave here and go to the community platform, I'm asking if you would just pray a prayer, a one sound, a one spirit, united in worship prayer. We've got some pastors who are on. We've got, lay people. We have leaders, ministry leaders who are on. If you could just pray a one sound, one spirit, united in worship prayer over us tonight.
Sure, absolutely. Father, we thank you for this time of sharing. Thank you for this opportunity that you have given us to give what has benefited our lives. Thank you for all those that have watched it live and those that will watch the replay. I thank you, God, because your word declares that we are one body, many members, but we are fitly joined together. Is your word that declares that every joint supplieth. I'm asking God that we remember we are not in competition with one another. I am not competing against other pastors, other churches. We are not competing against other members in the church. We are one body. I ask God that you will illumine what you have called us to do so that we can supply what you have put in us for such a time as this. I pray for the spirit of oneness, the spirit of unity, that we won't sound like a cacophony, but we will sound harmonious and be pleasant in your ears. Thank you for the spirit of oneness in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
Thank you so much, Pastor Perdue. Oh, I see. Yes, the hands, yet they coming in. God bless you, Sister Lily. I miss you. I see them coming in, and I'm so thankful for everyone that has joined us on tonight. And listen, let people know all they got to do, go back, watch the replay. This is for, tonight is really a great word for pastors, leaders, and lay people.
Yeah.
Pastors, leaders, and lay people all need to hear what has been shared with us on tonight by this wonderful man of God, Pastor Jarrett Perdue. Those of you that are part of the community, come on over, join us in our community. You'll have an opportunity to ask one-on-one questions just for a little while. I'm not going to keep them long, just for a little while. One-on-one questions of this great man of God. I want to say to you all, thank you so much. And on the third Monday, we will be here with the team. We will be praying into this unity and this one sound and united in worship, praying into that on the third Monday. So until we meet again, God bless you. May the Lord be with you. And those of you that are part of the community, come on over now. Come on over. I need y'all over there right now. God bless you.
Blessings.